to me is a game changer. So I recently discovered that you can farm your own probiotics. Holy cow, this is going to be amazing. So I also knew how important probiotics were to the gut and to your general health, but I didn't really understand exactly how important until recently. I'm sort of hitting that late 30s mark, and I'm noticing that I'm gaining weight a lot easier than I used to. And I recently had a doctor's appointment and I was about 20 pounds over what I usually am. And that was shocking to me because I had no idea that that was even happening. So I did a little bit of research and I saw that all of the things that were being advertised that are like help you lose weight when you're in that like 40-ish bracket is all just probiotics. Now, I am not a huge fan of taking probiotics. Now, this one seems really, really good, and I did have to buy this just to inoculate my first batch. It's got 60 billion different CFUs and 19 specially selected strains. It's also stomach acid and bile resistant, and it supports digestive health and immune health. And it also has prebiotics, which is fantastic. Prebiotics and probiotics. So the thing that I'm noticing is even though I get a lot of really good probiotics, I drink my tepache, I eat my kimchi, I have sourdough, I like my kombucha, I still am not getting, I also do yogurt and kefir, I'm still not getting the full spectrum that these are giving me. And also, when you're doing the parasite cleanse, it is incredibly important to re-inoculate with all of the good bacteria. So what happens is because of the advent of the refrigerator and all of the preservatives in our food, we actually don't get all of the good bacteria as well as all of the preservatives really suppress a lot of the good bacteria that would grow on its own. So back in the day before the refrigerator, they really got a lot more fermented foods. They were eating a lot bigger variety of these types of things. Now with the refrigerator, we're just not doing that. So about 80% good bugs and 20% of the bad bugs. Most people, it's actually flipped. And just like a garden, if you don't plant plants that you want, just the weeds are going to grow. And that's the same thing that happens. So if you plant things, the good bacteria that you want, there's still going to be some of the bad stuff, but it's going to have, the good stuff is going to have a much better fighting chance. And what I'm learning is that it's not so much about getting out carbs. I know that everybody's on this like keto diet. I like the keto diet. I'm not saying it doesn't work, and I'm not saying it's not good. What I am learning is that it's more about what kind of carbs you're eating. So like you can't just take one of these every day and then eat sugar all day long, because what's happening is you're still feeding that candida, that bad bacteria in your gut, and that's still going to start to take over. So it's really about having the proper balance of gut flora more than anything, and then also having the right kind of carbs. So having carbs is good, in my opinion, if you have the right ratio, but you're going to want to stick to things like quinoa and rice and brown rice, not just white flour and white sugar. These things are going to break down differently, and they're going to feed different bacteria, and it's going to make you feel different, and it's going to make you gain weight. So instead of having to resort to chickpeas and celery and lemon juice with salt, which does sound amazing and I do like eating that sometimes, I also like eating cream and fat and sugar and having a cupcake once in a while. So you can be thin and have your cupcake. So that is really exciting because I like fitting in my clothes. So, okay, let's do this thing. So you can farm your own probiotics, and I would suggest maybe drinking like an ounce or two every day. I'm going to be giving it to my dogs. I'm going to be giving it to my chickens because they have the same sort of thing going on and they need good probiotics too. So you start with a clean jar, clean glass jar, and I'm going to put in some of my homemade apple cider vinegar. You can just use store-bought apple cider vinegar. You want to make sure it has the mother, so something like Bragg or something like that with the mother in it. Now I'm going to take my bananas, and these bananas are old, and that's okay. You just don't want them rotten. So there's a very fine line between fermenting and rotten. Fermenting is wonderful, and rotten is not. So find that line and stick to it. And I'm going to put some pineapple in. This is going to give those good bacteria and those good probiotics all something to eat. Okay, and I'm going to add some of this really high quality sugar. You can use white sugar, you can use honey, you just want to give it something to eat. If you have the means, get something a little bit nicer like the turbinado or this organic sugar, just because it's going to have different minerals in it, and it's going to be a little bit more satisfying to, and then you're going to be consuming this. Although it's going to eat most of the sugar, you are going to be taking this in. More than the actual measurements that I'm concerned about, I'm concerned just mainly about the ratio. So if you're having a much smaller jar, then you're just going to use smaller of everything. And it doesn't have to be exact. You just, the apple cider vinegar inoculates it with its own good probiotics, and the acidity is going to help break all that down. And then we've got the fruit that's going to add the good other good probiotics and also sugar for all those probiotics to eat. And then I'm going to take these little capsules and I'm just going to put those in there, and that will just inoculate that whole jar. Now I'm just going to add some distilled water. So using distilled water just takes the guesswork out of it. So you're not having to worry about, wow, did it not turn out very well because there was a bunch of bleach in it or a bunch of fluoride in it or whatever. It just kind of gives a nice clean environment for your farm to thrive. Okay, now I'm going to add an airlock to this because I want air to be able to come out, but I don't want air to go in. If you don't have an airlock, you can just kind of burp it every day. I would put a lid on it and then just kind of lift it up every day. Really want to get that. I'm going to give it a nice swirl. If you want to stir it, that's fine. I'm just going to give it a really nice little swirl. Get all that sugar not just sitting on the bottom. And then I'm going to put this in a dark place where it can just sort of ferment. Now, it depends on how warm it is in your environment as to when it's ready. You don't want it to taste very sweet. You want the bacteria to eat most of the sugar. So you want it to be a little bit fermented tasting, and you're going to be able to eat the fruit and drink the liquid and just inoculate your gut with good probiotics all the time. So your gut, they say like a gut feeling, you have feelings that come from your gut, and a lot of the anxiety that people experience are not anything but imbalance of gut flora. A lot of the weight gain that people experience are just an imbalance of gut flora, as well as too much white flour and white sugar probably, but that just feeds the bad bacteria. So does this mean that you have carte blanche to eat whatever you want? Probably not. If you have that sort of metabolism, then all power to you, whatever. In my opinion, it's more about being healthy as well. So you are still going to want to maintain your diet, but it just means that you get to eat more of the foods that are maybe on the naughty list more often because you're inoculating your gut with good stuff. And then to continue this, all I'm going to do is take out my fruits and add some more fruit, and I can use my juice, and then I just want to save a little bit to inoculate the next batch. Or you can use these, but you're going to run out of these at some point. These get very expensive. So this is actually a really good product. This one was only $15 and it's a month's supply. And So that's not bad. Some of them I've seen are like $50 or like $75 a month. I think that's a lot. So if you can save, and then also a lot of them don't even make it to your gut. They get sort of destroyed by the stomach acid and the bile. So getting to the source and making it something that your body can actually use is cheaper, it's better for you. You do need to do it every single day though. And having these on hand for like when you're on vacation or something is a wonderful thing. This one has a really long shelf life. Some of them have to be in the fridge or whatever. That's not necessarily ideal. It should take about 12 hours to 3 days to do its thing, maybe 5 days if you're in a really cold environment. It just sort of depends, and it also depends on how tangy you want it. So, you know, there's a spectrum here of not enough and then like too much. But if you take care of it, it will take care of you, and this can be something that you enjoy for many, many years. And you just add more fruit, add more sugar, add more apple cider vinegar, add more water, and then save a little bit from the last batch, and you're good to go. So I hope you try this, and I hope you enjoy it, and thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next video. Mwah!